This webinar is titled The 5 Pilgrim Keys, Key Number 4, Education. And we've been through faith, morality, law, and now we take a look at education. You can see a victor's wreath showing that she had accomplished the task of educating her children to pass on the ideals of liberty to the next generation. She has a young face showing that she has accomplished this since a young age. The book that she's holding in her hand represents a Bible, but of all the books that speak of noble things, not just the book Bible itself, but of all books. And think of this in these terms of noble things. Whatever's true, whatever's noble, whatever's right, whatever's pure, whatever's lovely, whatever's admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Now it's noteworthy that learning was highly valued amongst the Pilgrims. The number of books possessed by Pilgrims was remarkable considering the size of the colony, the high price of books, and the scarcity of personally owned books. But consider this, almost everyone had a Bible, most likely the Geneva Bible. Bradford, Brewster, Winslow all had 300 to 400 books. Bradford studied Hebrew by candlelight. Winslow and Standish learned the Indian dialect, and so there was a lot of elevation of learning. Well, education has two interpretive statuettes, youth and age. Let's take a look at these. Proverbs 22:6 says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is older, he will not depart from it." Well, you can see the stern look on the woman's face. It's hard to train children, and anybody that's been a parent or is a parent knows this. Second of all, she's showing loving care even in this firmness, though, holding the hand, loving, leading, and guiding. Moreover, literacy was high among youth and adults. This came out of the Reformation, that learning in the mind was important. Reading the Bible and other works were the key to learning and education. Literacy rates and breadth of reading were far higher than they are today. And that's particularly true of breadth of reading. Children also learned at the age of 5 or 6 to sew, to cook, to farm, to care for livestock, to build. They were well-rounded and well-versed. The other statuette is that of age, the wise counsel of our elders. And at the feet of this statuette are 3 fascinating things. Firstly is an open Bible. The Bible, and it's open because it's a lamp unto our feet and a guide to us. Behind that is the 10 Commandments, God's guidance for personal behavior and the basis for civil government. Also hidden behind his cloak is a globe. The globe is taking the Great Commission to the world. On the pedestal of education is the Mayflower Compact. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail here. Remember that there were 52 pilgrims on the Mayflower, 26 sailors, and 24 others. So of the 102 people, only 52 were pilgrims. And their official papers were for Virginia, not for Massachusetts. So some of the sailors and others indicated that they were going to do as they pleased once on shore, that they were under no official authority since they were at a different location. So the Mayflower Compact was most needed. And in essence, it was an extension of their church covenant formed in Scrooby in 1606. They had already been practicing self-government for 14 years prior to this arrival in the religious space. And so the model of voluntary association through covenant accountability in the church now became a reality within the civil structure. This jurisdictional distinction between church and state was the seed of what was to come to America. This would mark the development of American government from its theological roots. Now, consider this. So from the scriptures, they saw that there were 4 governments that God dispensed. One was individual self-government. Second was family government. Third was church government. And fourth was civil government. And each had their own distinct responsibilities. And so within the church, what they saw was a new philosophy of church government, since they were no longer under the Catholic Church or the Church of England. They established a spiritual covenant, a religious covenant, and they became a self-governing church according to the ordinance of God, meaning that they elected their own leaders. And so they had this practice of self-government. And the scriptures in Titus tells us what kind of characteristics to look for in leadership. Since an overseer is entrusted with God's work, he must be blameless, not overbearing, not quick-tempered, not given to drunkenness, not violent, not pursuing dishonest gain. Rather, he must be hospitable, one who loves what is good, who is self-controlled, upright, holy, and disciplined. Titus 1, verses 7 and 8. boy, somebody that exhibits those characteristics, I think, could be trusted as a leader. Well, how do you apply that to the civil government? Well, this is what Robinson said, their pastor. First, deal with your relationship with God and one another, which is religious liberty. But then second, this self-government and relationship with God sets the atmosphere for having good civil liberty. And he says this, whereas you are to become a body politic, in other words, a civil society, administering amongst yourselves civil government, and are furnished with persons of no special eminence above the rest, from whom you will elect some to the office of government, let your wisdom and godliness appear. So what he's basically saying here is the same principles you use to self-govern in a church governing situation, you can apply those same principles to a civil government. And so a new philosophy of civil government was formed where people elected their own leaders, and those leaders were to be of good character. And Exodus 18 says this, but select capable men from all the people, men who fear God, trustworthy men, who hate dishonest gain. And this is said in Exodus 18 to Moses by his father-in-law Jethro about how to pick people for civil authority, for civil government, even 4,000 years ago. And as I close, remembering this, Bradford said this about Robinson, for besides his singular abilities in divine things where he excelled, he was also very able to give directions in civil affairs and many, many other things. And so the whole idea is that we're to be well-rounded people, educated in many things, with a breadth of knowledge and wisdom, and a sense of strong inner character and faith. My name's Craig Seibert. Thanks for listening.